So, how's it going, guys? Today I will be discussing with you the key difference between weight shift and pressure shift. A lot of times I hear golfers describing the shift in which happens within the golf swing as a weight shift, but in actuality, it needs to be a pressure shift. And I'm going to describe to you the key differences and how to perfect this pressure shift with my new training aid called the pendulum. And we're going to explain how you can use this training aid to perfect your pressure shift to hit the ball further and more consistently. I hate to admit this, that I was once in your shoes where I was scrolling on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok on the latest golf tip to help me improve my golf game. Did that work for me? Maybe for about a few days or a week, but it never helped me improve long term. So, what I learned and what you need to learn is that you need to know what your body can do physically and also what your most optimal golf swing is to help you improve your golf game. So, how does that come into picture with me? Well, I will help you to understand your most optimal golf swing using both a TPI physical assessment to see what you can do physically, along with Sportsbox AI technology to help you to understand what your body is currently doing, and then also tracking the progress of specific parameters that we focus on to help you to improve your golf game. Ready to take action to improve your golf game on a long-term basis? Comment down below the word assess and let's get started. So, based off the last upload, if you were able to watch it, we discussed the topic of creating more torque. And we're able to create more torque by increasing the difference between our center of mass and our center of pressure, right? And so our center of mass would describe where weight shift comes from. Rather, center of pressure tells us where pressure shift comes from. And we need to know the difference between the two and how to apply this principle in order to perfect that shift within the golf swing that we need for more power and more consistent contact. And so here I have the pendulum, my new training aid, to help you to understand what the difference is. So if I just set up here without swinging the golf club, right? So if I move back and forth, as you can see, right, this will be describing my center of mass moving back and forth, right? And why is that? Because as my upper body and lower body are moving in unison, we can see that this pendulum is not moving that much. Rather, this is the difference. With pressure shift, if I'm here, I'm going to be keeping my center of mass relatively still while my pressure, which is represented by this pendulum, is going to be moving back and forth, which creates that torque. So it'll be here, right? So rather a back and forth with my upper and lower body, I like to describe it as the lower body being more violent in moving back and forth as my center of mass stays relatively still. And so as you can see, this pendulum is moving quicker than my center of mass is, right? And so that is what will be our pressure shift. And so that is what we actually need within the golf swing, because the problem is with golfers is when they try the weight shift is that they weight shift for too long and then their timing is off to where they cannot get away and towards a target quick enough. Rather, when we apply pressure shift, that allows us to do the same type of movement but at a faster rate, right? And that's what we need, because the golf swing is ultimately about 1 second. So we can't spend that much time going back and forth. So using this pendulum, what I want you to do is have it where you just tap your feet back and forth, right? Whereas you can see, the thing is that now this pendulum is moving more in relation to my center of mass. And so the order in which we need to do this is that the pressure comes before our mass moves, right? And here's how I would describe it. We're using this pendulum. So if I set up to a golf ball here, rather than me weight shifting, instead it's going to be a pressure shift, right? And as we can see, when I move away like this with pressure, you can see how the pendulum moves before the rest of my body moves. And vice versa, if I were here and to come in a downswing, you can see how this pendulum moves before the rest of my body catches up to it. And so that's the order in which we need to have to produce more consistent shots, because more than almost 90% of golfers apply forces away and towards the target too late, right? Because the golf swing in 1 second, we don't have that much time to go back and forth in an efficient way. So instead, what you need to see it as pressure shift. And so using this pendulum, what you can do is have it where you take some swings like this, where you feel how this pendulum is moving very fast, but my mass is still relatively still. And so that's what we need to create efficient speed and consistent contact within the golf swing. And so one thing that I don't want you to do, so the things that you should look out for are two different things. So first is my center of mass moving too far in conjunction with my center of pressure. So as you can see, as I described before, this weight shift will not be good here, back and forth, because as we can see, this pendulum is moving very slowly, but the rest of my body is moving much more. And also as well, what this pendulum will help you to do is orient your middle of your pelvis and the center of your pressure in the correct position in relation to your upper body. So a lot of times, a lot of golfers have the reverse spine angle, right? And as you can see, this pendulum didn't move that much and is leaning this way, and it's furthest away from the target than my chest is. So that would be reverse spine angle. Instead, we need to have it where it moves and my upper body, my pelvis is actually closer to the target than my upper body. And the second mistake is too much weight shift. So the center of mass moving too much. And now at this point, we need the pelvis to actually be more in the middle, where this pendulum moves towards the target as my upper body is back. And that's what creates that X factor stretch to allow you to create more speed into the golf ball. So what I want you guys to do, click the link down below in the bio to grab your pendulum in order to apply this principle. And some of the drills that you can actually do is what I like to call the drag the club drill. So if I take my backswing, right, in order to get the club out of the grass and get it up, what I'm going to do is have this pendulum move first before anything else goes. So it'll be here, right, here. And so the key of getting that club up quickly is that my pressure moves first away, this pendulum moves, but then to get it up, it comes very quick back towards the target. That's what gets the club up. That's what creates torque. And vice versa, if I'm coming in a downswing, I'm going to get this pendulum to move a lot more to get this club to move up. And again, that's what creates torque on the other end moving towards the target. So let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments. But go ahead and grab this pendulum and you'll see how it will help you to perfect your pressure shift and not your weight shift.